Are you serious? Are you serious? Folks, last night, the notorious Charles Manson passed away. The question is, where did the demons go? I believe it has released, the death of Charles Manson has released the spirit of Helter, Skelter. You might even remember the song by the Eagles. We haven't had this spirit here since 1969 in the song Hotel California. Yes, they tried to stab it with its steely knives, but they could not kill the beast. Well, the question is, where do the demons, the absolute demonic presence that filled the inside of Charles Manson, where did they go? And was there already a host waiting for them? Maybe still incarcerated in the prison that Charles Manson was in? Or has it been a recently released individual? Or is there someone else out there who is wanting to take on the spirit of Helter, Skelter? Or would be a prime suspect, a perfect host for the legions of hell? Here's what happened. Charles Manson, for those of you who may not know his story, Charles Manson, the hippie cult leader who became the hypnotic, demonic-eyed face of evil across America after masterminding the gruesome murders of pregnant actress Sharon Tate and 6 others in Los Angeles during the summer of 1969, when he unleashed Helter Skelter upon the world. He died at the age of 83 last night. Manson died of natural causes at the California hospital while serving a life sentence. His name synonymous to this very day with unspeakable violence and depravity. Michelle Hennessy, president of the Association of Deputy District Attorneys for Los Angeles County, reacted to the death by quoting the late Vincent Bugliosi, the prosecutor who put Manson behind bars. She said, Manson was an evil, sophisticated con man with twisted and warped moral values. Today, Manson's victims are the ones who should be remembered and mourned on the occasion of his death. A petty criminal who had been in and out of jail since his childhood. This charismatic guru, Manson surrounded himself in the 1960s with runaways and other lost souls, and then sent his disciples to butcher some of Los Angeles' rich and famous in what prosecutors said was the bid to trigger a race war. And we've been witnessing for the last, probably the last 4 or 5 years, a rise in this spirit, trying to create racial division and a race war mentality. We've watched the media hype this up in the mainstream fake news media. And certainly there was some of this during the in the last 4 to 5 years. It has been very uncomfortable, to say the least, in America. And so he wanted to trigger a race war, an ideal he got from a twisted reading of a Beatles song, Helter Skelter. Matter of fact, the slayings horrified the world, and together with the deadly violence that erupted later in that same year, 1969, during a Rolling Stones concert at a California speedway, it exposed the dangerous, drugged out underside of the counterculture movement and seemed to mark the death of an era of peace and love. Despite this overwhelming evidence against him, Manson maintained during his trial in 1970 that he was innocent and that society itself was guilty. These children, quote, these children that come at you with knives, they are your children. You taught them. I didn't teach them, he said. I just tried to help them stand up, he said in a courtroom. These were the demons speaking, folks. These were the demons speaking. Now, Linda Deutsch, a longtime courts reporter for the Associated Press who covered the Manson case, said he left a legacy of evil and hate and murder. He was able to take young people who were impressionable and convince them he had the answer to everything, and he turned them into killers. It was beyond anything we've ever seen before in this country. California Corrections Department spokeswoman Vicki Walters said it has yet to be determined what happens to Manson's body. It is also unclear if Manson requested a funeral service of any sort. So as everybody wonders what happens to the body of Charles Manson, I'm asking the bigger question: what happened to the demons of Charles Manson? And where do the demons, a legion of them, of Helter, Skelter, where do they go? Folks, they don't go to the grave with Charles Manson. They go and find a new host. This is why I wrote the book, Zombie Apocalypse, to understand the return of Legion. The demons are loose. I talk about demonic forces, 35 actual counts of demon possession, and the zombie apocalypse phenomenon. There is certainly, no doubt, a manifestation in some ways that of a helter-skelter in its own, a demonic force right out of the Bible from Mark chapter 5. Then I just released, in the last 45 days, I just released my brand new DVD teaching on Zombie Apocalypse 2. This DVD contains shocking accounts of demonic possession, including voodoo, witch doctors, cannibalism, and I even sat down with an exclusive interview with L.A. Marzulli, and he began to exclusively, for the first time, connect zombieism and zombie apocalypse with the Nephilims and the fallen ones. Also, Castor McLeod witnessed a person possessed with the zombie demon and attacked people on the streets right in Times Square there in New York City back in 1978. So I wrote the book, and I also now did the DVD. I did these. I highly recommend, if you want to understand how Satan releases the demons into the world to affect people. Why did we have a Ted Bundy? Why was there a John Wayne Gacy? Why was there a Jeffrey Dahmer? I addressed these issues and a whole lot more in this powerful book and DVD. You can only get them at my website. That's the only place they are, and I highly recommend it. But my reason for the video is not about that. I want you to be educated. I want you to understand it. Matter of fact, your college kids and your high school kids, you really need to be able to read the book and watch this and understand not to get involved in seances, not to go play around with the Ouija boards, not to get involved with occult practices, because these are the gateways, these are the portals that allows these demons to manifest. But my question is not as much, where does the body of Charles Manson go? I want to know where the demons of Charles Manson go. Where does the spirit of Helter Skelter? What host will host these? And what you will see a release. I believe the spirit of Helter Skelter has been released into the world now from its 50-year containment in a prison in California. It has been released upon the world and will manifest in such a time as this. Now, he was infatuated, Manson was, with Adolf Hitler and the occult. He was the hippie, yes, and the free, but he was more than that. He was demonically possessed to try to take the song written by the Beatles, Helter Skelter, and to create a race war across America. And also, when the Eagles came out with their song Hotel California, in the very lyrics of the song, it tells you, we haven't had this spirit here since 1969. And how that they entered into the chamber and they tried to kill the beast. They stabbed it with its steely knives, but they just couldn't kill the beast because we're dealing with something demonic. something spiritual. Even when the individual in the song tries to leave the hotel, it says you can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. This is actually the words, the lyrics of the song, but what it's referring to, of course, is demon possession. How that you can never be free unless you're free from the demons, unless they're exorcised, unless you've been delivered from such demonic forces. So that's the question, folks. Where does the spirit of Helter, Skelter go? And I would make a prediction for you that you will see, unfortunately, God forbid even, but you will see somebody, a new, charismatic leader, rise up with the spirit of Helter Skelter and try to create the chaos that Charles Manson just got started. For such a time as this, just before the rise of the beast and the new world order, every demon in hell will be released. And let me just tell you that Jesus even said in the Bible that an unclean spirit, when it goes out of the man, it goes forth and it seeks rest and can't find it. Here's what it says in Matthew 12, verse 43. When an unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest and finding none. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Then goeth he, taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. There, at the last state of that man, is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. Could it be 7 times worse than Charles Manson? Are you saved? The only way to protect yourself from any of this, of course, is through the blood of Jesus Christ. Get saved, get born again, and be blessed in the Lord.